Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Parivrajikacharya Astotra Satta Shri Srimad His Divine Grace Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Parivrajikacharya Astotra Satta Shri Srimad His Divine Grace Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai. Samaveta Bhaktavrinda Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai. Shri Rup Shri Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath Shri Jiva Gopal Bhatta Das Raghunath Sadgosai Prabhu Ki Jai. Jai Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopal Gopinath Shyama Kund Radha Kund Giri Govardhan Ki Jai. Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai. Shri Mayapur Navadvip Dham Ki Jai. Shri Jagannath Puri Dham Ki Jai. Gangamayi Jamunamayi Ki Jai. Bhakti Devi Ki Jai, Tulsi Devi Ki Jai, Gangamayi Munamayi Ki Jai, Shri Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai, Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the divine lotus feet of Sri Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopijana Vallabha Girivardhari Jaya Gopijana Vallabha Girivardhari यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यशोदानंदन यमुना तीरा बनचारी यमुना तीरा बनचारी यमुना जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव जय गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी जय यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यमुना तीरा बनचारी यमुना जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जरा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण जय प्रभुपद श्रील प्रभुपद प्रभुपद श्रील प्रभुपद जय हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल निताय गौर जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राज काचार्य अष्टोत्तर से डिवाइन गेशुल अभय चरणारविंद भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी श्रील प्रभुपाद की इस्कॉन फाउंडर आचार्य श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राज काचार्य अष्टोत्तर से डिवाइन गेशुल भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोसाई प्रभुपाद की अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की नामाचार्य श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद की श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरी गोवर्धन की श्री वृंदावन धाम की श्री श्री नवदीप मायापुर धाम की श्रीमती तुलसी देवी भक्ति देवी की, गंगा जमुना माई की, गौर प्रेमानंदे हरिनाम संकीर्तन की, श्री श्री राधा नीलमाधव जी की, श्री श्री राधा गिरधारी जी की, श्री श्री गिरिराज जी महाराज की, श्री श्री गौरनिताई की, श्रील प्रभुपाद की। All glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees, all glory, all Guru Garang ki jai. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुन् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमस्तुते। तप्तकाञ्चन गौरांगी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रियं। नमो महावदान्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नाम्ने गौरत्विषे नमः। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। So today we will be reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 11 and chapter also 11, the symptoms of Living in it is the entitled this chapter. And text today we are going to read 23 and 24. How it go a repetition, some display of this verse would be somewhere.
I can get it in 2 minutes. What's the number again?
Say 23 and 24, 11th canto, 11th chapter. Otherwise, how you have access to repeat? Everyone has. श्रद्धालुर्मत् कथा शृण्वन् सुभद्रालोकपावनिः गायन्ननुस्मरन् कर्म जन्म चाभिनयन् मुहुः मदर्थे धर्म कामार्थान् आचरन् मदपाश्रयः लभते निश्चलां भक्तिं मयि उद्धव सनातने श्रद्धालुर्मत् कथा शृण्वन् सुभद्रालोकपावनिः गायन्ननुस्मरन् कर्म जन्म चाभिनयन् मुहुः मदर्थे धर्म कामार्थान् आचरन् मदपाश्रयः लभते निश्चलां भक्तिं मयि उद्धव सनातने। जी Shraddhalu, a faithful person, mat katha, narrations about me, Sriman, hearing, Subhadraha, which are all auspicious, Loka, the entire world, Pavanihi, purifying, Gayan, singing, Anusmaran, remembering constantly, Karma, my activities, Janma, my birth, Cha, also, Abhinayan, reliving through dramatical performances. Muhu, again and again. Mat arthe, for my pleasure. Dharma, religious activities. Kama, sense activities. Arthan, and commercial activities, acharan, performing, mat, in me, apasrayah, having one's shelters, labhate, one attends, nischalam, without deviation, bhaktim, devotional service, Mai, to me, Udhava, O Udhav, Sanatane, dedicated to my eternal form. Translation and purport. Translation. My dear Udhava, narration of my pastimes and qualities are all auspicious and purifying the entire universe. A faithful person who constantly hears, glorifies and remembers such transcendental activities, who through dramatical performance relives my pastime beginning with my appearance, and who takes full shelter in me, dedicating his religious, sensual, and occupational activities for my satisfaction, certainly obtains unflinching devotional service to me, the eternal personality of Godhead. Purport. Those who have faith only in the impersonal, effulgent aspect of the Supreme Lord, and those who have faith only in the localized supersoul, the perfect object of mystic meditation located in the heart of every living entity, are considered to be limited and imperfect in their transcendental realization. The process of mystic meditation and impersonal philosophical speculations are both devoid of actual love of God, and therefore can't be considered to be the perfection of human life. Only one who places full faith in the Supreme Personality of Godhead becomes qualified to go back home, back to Godhead. Lord Krishna's pastime of stealing butter from the elderly gopis, enjoying life with his cowherd boy friends and the young gopis, playing his flute and engaging in the ras dance, etc., are all auspicious spiritual activities, and they are fully described in the 10th canto of this work. There are many authorized songs and prayers glorifying these pastimes of the Lord, and by constantly chanting them, one will automatically be fixed in smaranam, or remembrance of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Lord exhibited his opulences upon his birth in the Kansa's prison, and at the birth ceremony subsequently performed by Nanda Maharaj in Gokula. The Lord further performs many adventurous activities such as chastising the serpent Kaliya and many other irresponsible demons. One should regularly take part in the ceremonies commemorating Krishna's pastime such as Janmashtami celebration, glorifying the Lord's birth. On such a day, one should worship the deity of Lord Krishna and the spiritual master, and thus remember the Lord's pastime. The word dharma in this verse indicates that one's religious activity should always be in connection with Krishna. Therefore, one should give charity in the form of food, grains, clothing, etc., to the Vaishnavas and Brahmanas, and whenever possible, one should arrange for the protection of cows who are very dear to the Lord. The word kam indicates that one should satisfy one's desire with the transcendental paraphernalia of the Lord. One should eat Mahaprasadam, food offered to the deity of the Lord Krishna, and one should also decorate oneself with the Lord's flowers, garlands, and sandalwood pulp, and should place the remnants of the deity's clothing on one's body. One who lives in a luxurious mansion or apartment should convert his residence into a temple of Lord Krishna and invite others to come chant before the deity, hear Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam, and taste the remnants of Lord's food. Or one may live in a beautiful temple building in community of Vaishnavas and engage in the same activity. The word artha in this verse indicates that one who is inclined towards the business should accumulate money to promote the missionary work of the Lord's devotees, and not for one's personal sense gratification. Thus one's business activities are also considered to be the devotional service of the Lord Krishna. The word Nishalam indicates that since Lord Krishna is eternally fixed in the perfect knowledge and bliss, there is no possibility of disturbance for one who worships the Lord. If we worship anything except the Lord, our worship may be disturbed when our worshipable deity is placed in an awkward position. But because the Lord is supreme, our worship of Him is eternally free of disturbance. One who engages in hearing, glorifying, remembering, and dramatically recreating the pastime of the Lord will soon be freed from all material desires. Srila Jiva Goswami mentioned in this connection that one who is advanced in Krishna consciousness may specifically be attracted to the pastime of a devotee in the spiritual world who serves the Lord in a particular way. An advanced devotee in this world may desire to serve the Lord in the same way and thus may take pleasure in dramatically reliving the service of his worshipable devotee master in a spiritual world. Also, one may take pleasure in a spiritual festival performance of particular pastimes of Lord Krishna or activities of other devotees of the Lord. In this way, one can continually increase one's faith in the personality of Godhead. Those who have no desire to hear, glorify, or remember the transcendental activities of Lord are certainly materially polluted and never achieve the highest perfection. Such persons spoil the opportunity of human life by devoting themselves to fleeting mundane topics that produce no eternal benefit. The real meaning of religion is to constantly serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead, whose form is eternal, full of bliss and knowledge. One who has taken full shelter of the Lord is completely uninterested in impersonal speculation about the nature of God and uses his time to advance more and more in the unlimited bliss of pure devotional service. So this verse directly spoken by Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. We know the two times Krishna imparted transcendental knowledge, very important. One is in Kurukshetra for Arjuna, Bhagavad Gita, and equally and sometimes is considered to be more important, this instruction is Siksha. Lord Krishna imparted this knowledge to Uddhava in Prabhas Kshetra. One Upadesh was in Kurukshetra and another is Prabhas Kshetra. Description that one point, Uddhav came to know that Lord is about to conclude his pastime on earthly planet, and Lord was about to leave earthly planet and to go to his spiritual planet, Golok. At that time, Uddhava directly approached to Krishna, and Uddhavji requested that, my dear Lord, without your presence, without your association, it will be impossible for me to survive. So since you want to go, please take me with you. And then Krishna, no, Uddhav, I am going to a spiritual planet Golok, but someone should be, my representative should be remain on earthly planet in order to impart transcendental knowledge, help people in general. So you be there. At that time in Prabhas Kshetra, Prabhas Kshetra near Dwarika and bank of Saraswati river, Krishna was there. Krishna was about to leave the earthly planet, material situation. He wanted to enter in a spiritual planet, Golok. So Krishna was imparting this knowledge to Uddhava. By chance, another personality came. Maitreya Rishi. Maitreya Rishi was great devotee, elevated personality, but same time he has some tinge of attraction, influence about impersonal aspect of Brahma, Mayabad. Though he was devotee, but he has some attraction, some appreciation about impersonal aspect of Krishna. Brahma Jyoti, we say Mayabad, Nirvisheshavad. So he also came. So now Krishna was just speaking and two persons were sitting in front of Krishna, Uddhava and Maitreya Rishi. So big conversation. One point, there are many question and answer, but previous to this chapter, in 10th chapter of this canto, Uddhava wanted to know, first he expressed that a living entity, sometimes is described that a living entity it is transcendental, he has nothing to do with this material birth. Jiva, Sachidanand, Krishna is Sachidanand, Sat, eternally existing, and their bliss and knowledge is there. Similarly, since the living entity is also part and parcel of Krishna, Jiva has also the similar quality, Sat, Chit and Anand. And sometimes it is described that the Jiva is eternally conditioned soul, eternally conditioned about Jiva. So, Arjuna Uddhavaji wanted to know how come this happens. Sometimes it is described that Jiva is eternally conditioned soul, eternally conditioned. Jiva is never ever in the Vaikuntha planet, ever conditions. And sometimes it is described that he has ever liberated situation, nothing to do. He is transcendental to the material, but he has nothing to do with the material modes of material nature. So Arjuna, Uddhava wanted what is the actual position, what is the actual situation of living entity. Whether he is Sachidanand, ever liberated, or he is a conditioned soul, ever conditioned, bound. So how is he ever bound by modes of material nature? If he is Sachidanand, part and parcel of Krishna, Ansha of Krishna, then how is he ever be bound by the modes of material nature? This was question. And Krishna giving answer to this question, this chapter described. However, in previous verses, it talks about many things. In these two verses, Krishna talks about how it may be liberated or conditioned, but how we can achieve the highest perfectional stage in spiritual life, in devotional service. Highest perfectional stage. What are the process? How? So Krishna talks some aspects of devotional service. Is our engagement by performing those activities. If we engage ourselves in this activity, certainly Krishna he has promised labhate, that person will obtain, achieve nishchalam, nishchal, fixed, uninterrupted undeviated, fixed bhakti, pure, spontaneous attraction for Krishna, unto me. So many will Sradhalu. If a person, faithful person who has faith, Sradha, Shuddha, Sattvic Sardha, Sardha in modes of goodness. And first he must have Sardhalu, he must have Sardha, and with Sardha and faith, he should engage in Mat Katha. Katha. Meri Katha. Mat Katha. What Katha? Srinavan. The person should always hear my Katha. That person should engage himself in Sravans, hearing. And some transcendental qualities or symptom of Katha is described. How is Katha? Katha is Subhadra. Bhadra means auspicious. Subhadra means extremely auspicious, highly auspicious. So a devotee is advised here directly, personally by Krishna that if we are serious about reviving our pure attraction for Krishna, our pure consciousness, revive our consciousness, Krishna consciousness, then we must engage ourselves in hearing Katha. Subhadra, extremely. Bhadra, sunte na Bhadra. Previous, today is Ashwin, previously Bhadra, auspicious month was the day before yesterday. So, Subhadra, this Katha, if we hear Katha, all auspiciousness comes in our direction. And then another quality, guna of Katha is Krishna described, Lok Pavani. My Katha, it has a potency to purify entire surface of the material existence. Simply by hearing Katha, Lok Pavani, it has potency to purify entire universe. Lok. And then Gayan, and then first description about Sravanam, and he should Gayan. Always that person should chant. Chanting. Anusmaran, constantly remembering those pastime. What pastime? My karma. When Krishna descends, comes in this material world, he performs some activity that is karma of Krishna, but this is known as Leela. So, Gayan Smaran, he should chant and sometimes remember my karma, my Leela, and Janma, my appearance, how I appear. Chabhinayan, and same time he should do Abhinay. I think drama, like dramatical performance, means the devotee should arrange drama and the devotee should take part in the drama. Acting, there becomes, when there's some drama related to Krishna Katha is going on, then person is advised here, they have also take part in the drama. Listening are in audience, that is taking part, but here description about no, that person should go on the stage and play the role of some of his associates of Krishna. Muhu, maybe once a year, no, always, time to time. In any festival comes this. So here basically Krishna talks about Shravan and Kirtan. All are auspicious. Shravan is also auspicious, purifying. But when we talk about Shravan and Kirtan, both have similar quality, guna. But when we chant, it gives us more purification. If we want quick, instant purification, then that devotee is described to chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra. And he wants to revive attraction for Krishna, then hearing. If we hear the pastime of Lord Krishna or his associates, we develop a desire, a taste and attraction for bhakti. And then Krishna says, Madarthe dharma kaman kam arthan acharan. For my pleasure, for my sake, engage in dharma, religious activities. For me, the dharma, you know what? Dharma means giving, charity, is considered to be dharma. So if he wants to perform some religious activity, then Vishwanath Chakravarti advised that, okay, he should do the dharma. Topmost dharma is giving charity to needful person. So if you want to perform religious activity, advice is that person should give donation, charity, the grains, clothes to the Brahmanas or Vaishnavas. The person who is engaged in devotional service, giving something in charity, helping that person, then this type of, if you are interested to perform some dharma, so this type of dharma. Or here also purport mentioned that protecting the cow, giving shelter to cow, helping the cow, that is also considered to be the best type of dharma. If we engage ourselves in giving charity, we must give charity to the Vaishnavas or Brahmanas who are engaged, engaged in cultivation of Krishna consciousness, cultivating Krishna consciousness. Acharan, calm. Calm means sense gratification. We need, since in this material world, we need, in order to maintain this body, we need to roti, kapda और मकान कुछ चाहिए ना शरीर को मेंटेन करने. So some calm, sense gratification, you gratify your senses. A devotee who is interested to cultivate Krishna consciousness, revive Krishna consciousness, he is allowed. He can gratify his senses. Like we have to gratify the tongue, satisfy the tongue. Then that devotee is advised to how we can gratify and satisfy the tongue by eating. Then that devotee is advised to eat Bhagavad Prasadam, Krishna Prasadam. So this type, though you are gratifying your senses, tongue, but since the food is related to Krishna, is offered to Krishna, so this type of sense gratification if we are decorating our body nicely, this is also sense gratification, nice cloth, or sandal wool pulp, or perfume. Then we have offered to Krishna garland, flower garland, put on around your neck. So it's a type of sense gratification, but if you are gratify your senses by this type of object, then you can revive your Krishna consciousness. So if a mother the, for my sake, dharma, you are free, you can perform religious activity, you should. But that dharma should be related to Krishna or Krishna's devotee. Kam also sense gratification as well. Mad asraya, mad apasraya, and always that devotee should be in my shelter, he took shelter of me. If this is done, then labhate nishchalam bhaktim, that person obtains, get the highest perfectional stage in devotional service. Means direct, spontaneous, uninterrupted attraction for Krishna. Labhate nishchalam bhakti mayi uddhav sanatane. This is the means. If someone wants to revive Krishna consciousness, that person here, Krishna directly talking about, that person must hear katha, mat katha. In purport it describes that due to different types of realization, Bhagavan, how this word start? Bhagavan iti sabdate vadanti tat tat vidas tattvam yaj jnanam advayam brahmeti paramatmeti Bhagavan iti sabdate. Krishna is talking my katha. So Brahman, impersonal aspect, it is also Krishna. So we should hear about the impersonal aspect of Krishna, Nirvisheshavad, that is also his katha. Or Paramatma, Ishvara sarvbhutanam hirdeshe arjun tishtati. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita that Krishna is situated living in every single living entity heart. So what about hearing about impersonal aspect of Krishna? It is also katha, it is also helpful. Or talking about the Paramatma who is situated in the heart, whether this will also help. Or Supreme Personal, Bhagavan Niti. So here, of course, without doubt, everything will help. If you are hearing about impersonal aspect of Krishna, that is helpful, certainly. But really you want quick and highest perfectional stage, then some katha is mentioned. You should hear the katha. Here in purport talks about Krishna pastime of stealing butter from elderly gopis. Makhan chori leela. Makhan chor. One name of Krishna is Makhan chor. Because he did steal the butter from elderly gopis in Gokula. Other pastime also, Makhan chori, butter stealing leela. Or Krishna playing with his cowherd boys, cow herding every single day, every single morning. Krishna came out from Nandagam and along with cowherd boys and cows. We went in the forest of Vrindavan, Vrindadevi, forest of Vrindadevi, and whole day herding the cow, taking care of cow, grazing the cow, and playing with the cowherd boys. This pastime. This pastime is extremely auspicious. Other also auspicious, but this I, Krishna says, you must hear my katha, my pastime, Subhadra, extremely auspicious, and also chastising Kaliye Nag, Kaliye serpent, one very poisonous, extremely poisonous serpent was living in Jamuna river. He has mystic power, he could live in the water. So Krishna chastised him and advised him, you don't live in Vrindavan, in Jamuna. Due to your presence, Jamuna is polluted, atmosphere polluted, to leave this place and go to your own place you live. Ramanakdik. Prabhupada mentioned that Krishna told, don't live here in Vrindavan, you go to Ramanakdik, Fiji, this is your place. So he was removed from Vrindavan. So this pastime. And so many pastime. So anyone really interested, serious to revive his pure Krishna consciousness, pure Krishna consciousness, a spontaneous attraction for Krishna, then that devotee advice to hear Sardhalur Mat Katha Srinvan. Constantly, one after another, he must hear Katha, Krishna Katha. And Gayan, same time he should recite, speak Krishna Katha, Krishna's pastime. In this way, if we engage this way, then certainly he will revive. Mad labhate nishchalam bhakti. ऐसी भक्ति प्राप्त होगी, वो फ्लिकरिंग नहीं होगी, कहीं चली नहीं जाएगी. Once this bhakti would come in your direction, it will remain in your heart forever. Nishchal. Chal means fact. Sometimes what happened that we like devotional service, we engage our devotional service, but next day we feel that we have no any attraction, we engage ourselves in some material activity. But the bhakti obtained by these process, which Krishna is advocating the process, this, then Krishna promising lavate nishchalam bhakti, mai, unto me, Uddhava, my dear friend Uddhava. So Uddhava is interested. After that, towards the end, Krishna told Uddhava, I am leaving for a spiritual planet, but you have to remain here. And you go there, Badrikashram. You make your headquarter in Badrikashram. And from there you preach the Bhagavad Dharma. What I have described to you, please you should impart this knowledge, spread this knowledge, preach this knowledge all over the world, but mainly you should reside in Badrikashram. However, since Uddhava has intense desire, when Krishna first time sent him from Mathura to Vrindavan, in order to pacify Nanda Maharaj, Mother Jashoda and Gopi, Uddhava Sandesh. And Uddhava came to Vrindavan, when he saw the intense, such a bhakti, Shuddha Prem of Brajavasi towards Krishna, then he has prayed here, offered prayers. I requested Krishna, my dear Krishna, if you are really pleased with me, then I want to live in Vrindavan, not as a human being, not a big tall, but creepers and plants, so that I will be blessed by dust of the gopis' feet. Because gopis are walking here, Brajavasi are walking here and there, then by dust will be raised by their walking, by foot, and it will be on me. So in order to have a close association of dust of Vrindavan, or dust of lotus feet of Brajavasi, so for that reason his request was granted, and Uddhava is still living in Braj Vrindavan near Kusum Sarovar. There are many kundas. One of the most celebrated kunda of Braja is Kusum Sarovar. The Uddhava is living there still in the form of a creeper or a form of a small grass, and same time he has mystic power, he is living in Badrikashram, top on the Himalaya. And when they, before departing, Krishna told Maitreya Rishi, my dear Maitreya Rishi, I am living, but somehow or other, since many years, I did not get opportunity to associate my pure devotee. And who was pure Akrura. So please impart this knowledge, whatever I have told, instructed you, please. Somehow, do you found about whereabout of whereabout of Viduraji, Vidur. Now to please impart this knowledge to Vidura. And then Lord departed to a spiritual planet, and Uddhava proceeded to Vrindavan and eventually to Haridwar. So Maitreya Rishi was advised. Krishna advised Maitreya Rishi, please impart this final instruction, most sublime instruction, which I have imparted to, it should be used. Please impart this knowledge to Vidurji. And this. So thus, I want to say this pastime or all this instruction Krishna imparted in Prabhas Kshetra on the bank of Saraswati river. Okay, so I should stop here. If you have any question or comment, you are most welcome. I think it is here. Is it working? We have couple of minutes with us, so you can ask.
Hare Krishna Maharaj Ji, wonderful class. Two things which very important you expressed. Number one, Shraddha and faith. Okay, and number two, you said that charity should be given only to the Krishna's devotees or the Brahmins. So the first thing I want to know, Shraddha and faith, very important words. What happens is with the circumstances or inevitable situation, your Shraddha and faith starts kind of slowing down in such a situation, how to accept those challenges. And about the charity, is there any percentage of charity that some percentage should be given to cows, people, or Krishna devotees, or some to schools, hospitals, and all those? How does that thing work?
Bhagavad Gita, Krishna, yajna, dan, tapah, karma, na tyajam, karjameva tat. Yajna, dan and tap, it never should be given up. Yajna, dan, tapah, karma, pavanani, manishinam. Yajna, dan and tap, sacrifice, charity, and austerity. They purify manishina happy. So charity should be given. Anyone and everyone. If the charity is given to any person, needful person, this is auspicious, no doubt, helpful. But the same charity, if it is given to the Brahmanas or Vaishnavas who are engaged in cultivating Krishna consciousness, then this becomes extremely powerful. Otherwise also, we must give charity. Yajna, dan, tapah, karma, na tyajam. It should be never be abandoned. Karjameta, always. Because yajna, dan, tapah, karma, pavanani, manishina. Sadhuओं कोई बड़े बड़े highly spiritualist person, it has potency to purify even the manishi. Manishi means one who has made a substantial progress in a spiritual life. Even that person needs some purification, and simply by yajna, dan and tap, he could be purified. So दान देना चाहिए, सबको देना चाहिए. But really someone is interested to revive his spontaneous, pure, intense attraction, Krishna Prem, for that person is advised to direct his charity towards Vaishnavas or Brahmanas. Vaishnava Brahmana, any person who is interested or engaged or interested to cultivate Krishna consciousness. Because he is engaged in Krishna consciousness, for his material maintenance he may not have time to earn the livelihood. So giving charity to Brahmanas or Vaishnava is the best. Otherwise also giving charity to any person, that is also helpful. Okay, sir, anything?
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Maharaj, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita about Janma Karma Chamedavyam Evam Yoveti Tattvataha. And even in the later chapter, Krishna says about Manmana Bhavavan Bhakto. In that also Tattvataha word comes. And in this particular two verses, Krishna is saying that just by my katha and hearing, you will get pure devotional service. So, in Bhagavad Gita also, in the 4th chapter, there is a description where a spiritual master is needed to understand tattvataha, the tattva. So sometimes it may feel that, okay, if I just hear the katha myself, I'll understand and I'll get pure devotional service. So my question is the importance of spiritual master to understand the tattvata. Just in the association of devotees only, can that be?
No, just don't mix many things. I can't. What is precisely what you want to ask?
So in order to understand the tattva is an important aspect of the katha. And if a person says, if I just hear the katha myself, without having help of spiritual master or devotees, can that be understood, the tattva of the katha? Or is it independently possible?
तो महाराज जी ये प्रभु जी पूछ रहे कि गुरु का ज़रूरत है क्या? खाली कथा सुने तो हम भगवान को निश्चला भक्ति आ जाएगा, कथा सुने तो भगवान को तत्व में समझ पाएंगे, तो गुरु का ज़रूरत क्या है? Is that it? Did I summarize?
Here Krishna talks about importance of chanting and hearing. And certainly a person, when we hear attentively from the right source, so purification, auspiciousness would come in our direction. In this is not the beginning. Is one in this Krishna talks about Tasmat gurum prapadyeta jigyasu shrey uttam shabde pare cha nishnata brahmani upsamasret. Therefore, a person should take shelter of a spiritual. Tasmat gurum prapadyeta. Therefore, a person should take shelter of a guru. Tasmat gurum prapadyeta. He must be inquisitive. Shrey uttam, about the spiritual life. He must be inquisitive. And same time, he should have inquisitiveness. It means jigyasa. And service attitude, and same time he should maintain humility. So by here Krishna frankly tells here, though previously he had described that a person interested in make spiritual progress, he must take shelter, a spiritual master. Without taking spiritual shelter of a spiritual master, it will be difficult, really difficult to get the highest perfectional stage.